Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Carnage Unleashed. I am not Wade. Kev here filling in. I'll be handling the controls tonight. We hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. We've got an interview coming up as well as some UFC talk later. But first and foremost, Zach, Clayton, good to see you. We'll start with Clayton. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I just got back from a cruise. I went to Honduras, Belize, Mexico, and the Bahamas. So first time leaving the U.S. was pretty electric, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Monday was a little bit of a reality check. I went from eating like a king and partying like a rock star to like sitting in line at a customer service phone call, just listening to the stupid little elevator music that they play, and it was like, "Yep, we're back." We're back to reality, all right.
Make sure you're at home when you're eating processed foods for the next couple days. Just a heads up, if you've been out, you've been abroad for a week, takes a minute to get reacclimated with the States. But that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear you had a good trip. Zach, how was Ohio while Clayton was away?
Oh, it was rainy, wet and rainy. I mean, hey, I had enough time within the rain to build myself a nice fire pit in my backyard. So I guess I'm happy about that. So, so Kev, whenever you come and stay for between a show, maybe we'll throw a couple brewskis back and we can have a good time that way. But Clayton, was it Carnival Cruise that you went on? Because that sounds exactly like the same one that I went on 2 years ago. Same places, everything.
It was not. It was Norwegian. But Carnival, there were Carnival ships at every spot we went to.
Because that's the exact same one that I went on to. It was awesome. I loved it. It was a great time. So I know you had a good time, especially if you got the drink package.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You kidding me? Like I said, ate like a king, partied like a rock star. It was awesome.
Kevin, how was your week been? But actually 2 weeks. We haven't been here for 2 weeks now, hasn't it?
It's been a good time for me. I'm happy to report that we just uploaded the full event, Benchmark Pro Wrestling, the Absolute Grand Prix tournament. That was a lot of fun to work on. But it was also a lot. I have looked at this very computer screen for a lot of the last 7 days. So I'm very excited for everybody to get a chance to watch that. But no, it's been a good week for me, and we're in line for a very good show tonight. We're going to have AJ Gamblin here for an interview. We're going to talk with him about his most recent fight, maybe some upcoming fight news. Spoiler alert. All right. Spoilers, gang. Be ready. So Zach, are we ready? Should I bring AJ on?
Yeah, let's bring AJ on board here. AJ, how are we, bud?
Good. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. I'm just excited to talk to you here. You talk about, your nice knockout finish that you had there at Combate MVP in Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'll be honest, that was a lot quicker of a fight than I thought it was going to be. You went in there and just went to town. I mean, you didn't stop from start to finish. It was boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. My coach, we were talking about this fight. Mentally wise, we were trying to put this fight away as fast as we could. So as soon as I went in the ring, laser focused up until the fight, I was laser focused. And as soon as we touched gloves, I think I either threw a jab or a kick at him. And he gave off like he was it was timid, like this timid energy. So as soon as I got that, I was like, green light, and I just went and I just didn't stop.
Yeah, I think it was a kick. Yeah. From what I could see from he had said, and his background was in Muay Thai. And I'll be honest, I did not see that because you just didn't stop. Once you started, you just were green light, go, baby.
Yeah. He threw 2 punches. Both were like separate interactions. Well, I mean, like you said, the whole thing was like a long stream of combos from me. But there was two times he threw a punch, and I seen it coming. Every time he threw it, I would just like back up, and then I would re-enter. I didn't really get much of a style neither. No offense to the guy, I didn't get much of a style. There was a point where like he just like balled up, and then he went for a takedown, and I got underneath his arm and I threw him. Then I got him against the cage, and I just kept going. So,
well, Well, how about we just take a look at this instead of just thinking about it? Let's actually watch it here.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, you lead with that kick, and then boom, you just relentless.
Yeah, I feinted a jab and threw the kick because he had so much range. I think he was like 6'1". So I mean, just going up, he stood over me. So I threw the jab, and I think I pulled back from it because when I threw the jab, he kind of didn't react. He kind of just stood there, which to me is like he's either gonna parry me or he doesn't know what he's doing. And when I threw the kick, I seen his hand go down, and that's when I knew to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see what you're saying. You throw that kick, you throw and right when you throw that right hand and you connect, he just covers up. He doesn't advance or parry or do anything to try to really defend himself here at all.
Yeah, it's as fighter mentality from what I've been taught. My martial arts journey is if they're turning away, they're scared or they really don't have a plan, and that's just a green light.
Right. And so I take it you threw that kick right there. I'm going to keep on going back. So after that kick, what were you thinking there?
I threw the kick, and then you see me kind of like square up back with him. And then like, honestly, my adrenaline kind of like went up. It was like, go now. And that's kind of why I like just go in the next strike. And then I kind of bone rush him. And then you see me again, like pulling back to find the range.
So you hear
I didn't want
right there.
I didn't want to be too close to him because I didn't know exactly what he's going to do. I mean, he could throw, a crazy haymaker or something and hit me.
Yeah, because you see a lot of that with those guys that are, backed in a corner. They're going to throw wild punches.
Yes.
And so
I had to go ahead.
I was going to say, we'll just keep on kind of going here so we can look a little bit more. I keep on going back to the same spot because there's not a whole lot of footage. So I'm trying to break it down because you beat him so quickly here.
Yeah, it was kind of hard. The ref, there's a point in the fight because he keeps putting his head down like that, and the ref, I threw a front kick, and I didn't know why the ref said it until I watched the footage. He said, "Watch that kick," and I thought, oh, I maybe almost hit him in the groin, but he dipped his head so low that my foot literally almost kicked him in the face, and I didn't even notice it.
Well, and I think that's a tricky thing too, because as an amateur, it's like you can't kick in the head, but at the same time, it's not your fault if you're going for a body kick and the guy dips down so far that you accidentally kick him. And so it's kind of a ref's discretion there, which, Jerry Poe's he's a good ref. And so I think he would have understood that and not really held that against you.
Yeah. When you start to throw it, it's almost like because the timing, it's like he leaned down into it almost as well. Yep. So there. I think generally speaking, I would be hopeful that most officials would keep that into consideration because it's pretty clear that's not intended to be a head kick. It's just wrong place, wrong time as far as his reaction goes. But that, to me, it's the equivalent of in baseball when you see the guy with the massive elbow guard and you're like, oh, he's not to lean into anything close. He's taking that free base.
Right.
So not much you could do at that point which I think we were talking about on commentary. I think we were worried about that for him was like, okay, you can't be, especially when you have the reach advantage, you can't be putting your head all the way down there. You're at a strong disadvantage at that point.
Yeah. It's a weird game too, because you would think most people in this sport, like, we're hurting each other, but we don't really want to hurt each other like that. We gotta, how we see it here at Adrenaline, sometimes you gotta finish it fast for their safety, for your safety. And I mean, like, I don't want to knock someone out. I don't want to break somebody's arm, break someone's leg. But I mean, like you said, definitely you put your head down like that. Like, I'm thinking, like, I'm really good with knees. And he kept putting his head down like that, and I was like, knees are kind of out of the question right now because I feel like I'm gonna knee him right in his head or something.
But you do go to right here. You start throwing those uppercuts, which I love. Because you start throwing those uppercuts. Let me kind of get right there.
Yeah.
Boom. So you're throwing those uppercuts, which is good because not a lot of amateurs throw those uppercuts, and it's very good when the guys are ducking their head like that. rip those uppercuts, rip those
Yes.
uppercuts.
Yep. Just trying to get through the guard. And because he's leaning off to the side, I mean, I could punch the body, but I'm going for the gold here, and I'm just trying to get through the guard. Just trying to get through the guard and trying to get his head to pop up so I can hit him with that too that I'm trying to throw. And I just started just ripping, I think it was 2 or 3 uppercuts trying to get him out of that. Then he turns into me. So then I kind of try to space again. And that's when I started trying to find the range with the 2.
Yeah, you knock him right. Where is it? It's boom, right there.
Yeah.
Get him really good. I want to watch that again because that's a great shot.
Yeah, that's one of the times I was talking about where he throws a punch, and I think each time it's a 2 across he throws. So you can see me I get into my range, I throw the kick, I get into my range, and I kind of see him squaring up with me. So then I just kind of take a step back, just a little step back, and I throw that 2.
Just get out of his range until he's throwing, and then you pop right in there. Boom, because I think you're way quicker than him.
Yeah. And the strange thing is when we did our face off for the pictures after weigh-ins, he squared up with me. He squared off in a southpaw stance. So I already went out into the fight thinking, he's southpaw, and I'm thinking of foot placement, which at the beginning of the fight, I'm stepping out of that foot range, that footing. And then right here, he stance switched with me, which is why I threw the low kick at his lead leg right there. So then all it is just alignment from there. Yeah, see, there's a knee, but he's putting his head down.
Yep.
Let's watch this 1-2 here real quick after that knee. 1-2.
Boom.
There we go.
Yep. He's like, I want to see that one too.
I had to see that one more time. That was awesome. I remember sitting there because if you guys look in the background, you could see me, Kevin, Q. That fight was right in front of us for the most part. So we were right on top of the action, which was awesome. And I remember thinking, man, there's an old MMA fighter named Mark Kerr, and his nickname was the Smashing Machine. That is exactly
soon to be played by The Rock, Clayton.
Yo, I know. I haven't watched the movie yet, but gosh, watching this fight, you just didn't stop coming forward. And that seems to be kind of the theme of what you've been talking about this whole time, right? When you smell blood, you just went in for the kill. Yeah,
I honestly, it doesn't look like it, and I went for it, and I'm hitting our combinations that we hit in the gym. But I'm being cautious, at least trying to calm the adrenaline down, and that's the moments where I do stuff like that. I get my pacing. I'm trying to find the openings through his guard, and right here, I can see he was loading up. The way he looked at me through his guard, I knew something was coming, and that's why I stepped back here, bam, and I'm trying to throw the 2 at him. Yep.
Yeah, and you were right. There it was. He came over with one heavy, and you popped right out. Yeah. Well done.
Like I said, it's a lot of it's alignment game. I seen where I was lined up at. Yes, he tried to
take down.
Yeah, it kind of he just kind of crumbled underneath the punches, and he tried to just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just threw him. I just threw him off me, and to try to get him against the cage. And then my corner was saying, "On your feet, on your feet." So I'm like, a submission finish would have been fine, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep striking. I don't need to show out. I don't need to do. I'm clearly I'm a striker. I have some grappling experience. But why showboat? Just finish it.
Right. I mean, this is the fight right here. I mean, that was it. That's why I was like, hey, let's keep on breaking this down little by little here, because we don't have a whole lot of footage to go by. But that was a fantastic fight. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
You didn't have to worry too much about defense on your end. I mean, you did. You come back and out of the pocket when you needed to, coming right back in, which is perfect technique, standing up. I loved it. That's my type of fighting style that I like. So kudos. Beautiful work. I mean, heck, what was it? I mean, I don't even know how it was 20, 30 seconds, maybe
39,
maybe 30. Okay. See, I knew you'd know. I knew you would know. So But that
even
was
our resident wrestler is impressed. Zach Wade, for some reason, working on his day off. We love it. We love the kind of work ethic there. Appreciate you, Wade. This is great combo and distance control.
Thank you.
So with that being said, and we already know you have a fight then coming up on our Carnage Fight Series 2 for our 135 belt, which is vacant. So I'm hoping that you or someone else can take that belt. I'm excited to get that belt filled.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this upcoming fight? Do you know anything about your opponent at all?
A little bit. I'm actually just out of class. Just fresh out of class, in the car out of class. My coach was talking to me about him. I'm gonna look up some footage. Guess he's done some kickboxing, some boxing, which is great, you know. I like to scrap. I like to fight. Like I said before, I got some grappling experience, so if it gets to that point, then I'll be good on that front too. But me personally, just training technique, cardio. Again, from what I hear, this guy's pretty good, pretty scrappy. And me personally, as a person, not only as a martial artist, but in my career, past jobs, I like to strive to be better. So in this profession, in this game, you got to fight good people to get better. So hopefully, you know, mindset is to get the belt, but I also want a positive experience out of it. I want to hopefully for both of me and my opponent, once we leave this fight, there's no animosity, which I always strive to, you know, be cool with everybody, but hopefully we leave with, you know, with knowledge, you know, what we can do better and you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can say, because I do know a little bit about Grant. Grant is a stand-up fighter, so you're going to get that scrap that you want. And I will say he will come with lots of punches from all different angles. So you're going to get what you're asked for, and this is going to be a fantastic belt fight. That's why I'm excited about this matchup. I'm glad that we got this matchup going. So I don't really see too much ground game going on this matchup. So.
All right. Well, I always love to, if anything, always love to give a show. so that's good.
Well, we've definitely have seen a lot of your shows. We've covered, I think, two of your fights thus far, because I think you were on the was it Fights Before Christmas 2, Clayton?
Yes.
Wasn't he on that? Yeah. And then this last one, I don't know if we had any more of your fights beforehand, if we filmed any of them, but I do know that we do have a couple of your highlight videos on our YouTube page. So if anybody wants to also check out any of his past fights, make sure you go on our YouTube channel, check out AJ's stuff as well there. So tell us a little bit about how you train there at Adrenaline.
Well, we do quite different things. It depends on the day. Some days we technique train. Some days are heavy cardio. Today was a lot of cardio sparring. We do a lot of we'll do a technique that my coach will go over, and then after that we'll do some cardio. And then we'll go and we'll do some stand up, maybe mix some grappling in, depending. Since it's we're starting fight camp. A lot of grappling mixed in with striking, and then at the end of class we do a lot of grappling, like a lot of grappling. But even then, I mean, I train a lot, even outside the gym. I do a lot of what my coach teaches, but I mean, you know, I go for a lot of runs, a lot of cardio, definitely a lot of cardio. I try to kill my legs, because, you know, that's what's moving you in the fight, and a lot of technique training on my own.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sure I've been talking away here, Clayton. Hopefully I didn't steal any of your questions here, buddy.
No, you're good.
Do you have any questions for AJ here?
Of course. AJ, I want to hear about your training partners, man. What kinds of guys do you guys have in the room over there at Adrenaline, and what's that work looking like on a day-to-day basis with your teammates?
So we got a quite interesting crew. A few of them are going to be fighting on this card, so you'll see them in action. Some young guys, early 20s. I got two training partners that I really been training with lately. Besides my coach, me and my coach train a lot one-on-one. But the two of my co-classmates, they young guys, I think they're 2021 brothers. They're both, like I said, both gonna be fighting on this card, but they're like 6'1", 180 pounds. So I'm always used to fighting taller people. There's only one person that's my height, maybe two. There's two people that are my height. One is my age, one is 17 years old. Everyone else towers over me. So every person I'm fighting or I'm sparring with in the gym either crushes me in, weight when it comes to grappling, so I got to work extra hard, or they outrange me. So that's why this last fight I could judge that range, because most people I fight are 6'1", 6'2", but they're both my two training partners that I'm referring to right now are both grapplers. They're getting onto striking, kind of beating me now, but they're I kind of took them under my wing. They're both hard workers, but I try to build them up, and not just them, other people in my gym as well. We all train together, but I try to build these guys up because I was always taught steel sharpens steel. So I'm not gonna get any better if I'm just beating on someone, or if someone's just beating on me. We got to find an equal ground and then build up together. So right now we're at that point where they're testing me. Right now they're testing me.
Like you said, though, iron sharpens iron, right? And especially with the show coming to your guys' hometown, you guys want to be ready. So what does that mean to Adrenaline having a show in Sandusky where you guys are based? I mean, you can probably leave home 20 minutes before you're supposed to be there and get there, right?
Yeah.
So what does that show mean to Adrenaline?
Well, it's kind of like bringing it back. It's bringing it back home. We've been kind of talking about it. We've been talking about like fight gear, like shirts and stuff, what kind of colors we want to do. But I mean, right now I would say, if anything, a lot of us are feeling the pressure. Not in a bad way, but we're feeling like, we gotta, this is different. Like, yeah, we train hard. Even when we're not in fight camp, we're training hard. But I mean, right now it's not a matter of win. Of course everyone wants to win, but like we were just talking about it today during cardio. During fight camp, you got to be in the best shape of your life every time. Every time you got to be better than the last time. So right now everyone's really pushing ourselves. Right now it's more, for a lot of the guys, it's more, I see it's more mental. Even for me right now, like, I did a lot of pad work today, a lot of combos, and I'm trying to hit the combos on some of my partners, and man, they're interrupting my combos, and they're figuring it out, and I'm like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? It's a lot of it right now is right here, and we're trying to get past that. Like I try to tell my classmates, it's when like we'll hit a combination and they'll mess up the combination, and and I'm like, when you're thinking too hard and you're all tense, that's when you're making your mistakes. You gotta let it go, just flow and just free your mind. It's when we're holding on too tightly is when we make those mistakes. So right now, this being here I think it's gonna be a very mental, and we're gonna have to, definitely for me, I'm gonna have to like forget about who's coming to the fight. I know I'm gonna have a bunch of friends and family there. I gotta not think about that. I gotta when everyone's cheering me on, and I'm walking out and everyone's like, go AJ and blah blah blah. I gotta stay focused. I can't think about that. So a lot of it's gonna be mental. It's gonna be mental.
Like I always say, gotta be like water. Gotta be like water. That's what I always tell the kids I'm training.
Zach,
be like water.
Original idea, Zach's not definitely his. I don't know who told you that was a Bruce Lee quote. They're lying to you. That was Zach's.
That is Zach Dominique. That's the only person who's ever said that before, ever.
This guy.
Copyright over here. It is true though. I'll step in here then, AJ, just because this wasn't actually on my question list, but because you mentioned it, the added pressure of being at home. Generally speaking, do you like to play spoiler? Have you ever been in hostile territory before and had to go and silence a crowd? You said that, obviously there will be a heightened awareness when you're in front of your friends and family. I feel like for most people, that's probably the more stressful of the two, but some people really like going into hostile territory. What are your takes on that? Have you been in a situation like that before?
So, my first MMA fight, me and one of my classmates went to Punta Gorda, Florida, to fight. We fought on this nice venue at the beach, and I was fighting the hometown kid. Now, like, everybody was there for this guy, and he was a belt higher than me, in jiu-jitsu. Didn't have much striking. And I, again, trying to let it go, focus and all that. They introduced him, everybody's, cheering, shouting and all that, which is whatever. Then they introduced me, and the whole crowd is booing me. Everybody. And I'm just like, oh man, like, oh. But I mean, again, I just put it out, just because in the end, it's me and him in the ring, not me and them, and again, like I hate it. Like, I get into this mode, and it happens in the gym, and I have to tell my classmates, like, I'm not mad. It's just like hyper focused, like almost looking through you. And, again, when I'm in the ring in this fight in Florida, I'm not trying to hurt the guy. I'm not like, they booed me, I got to show out and put you down, like it's just competition. It's like football. I played football in high school. I mean, I'm not trying to give someone a concussion or hurt somebody. I mean, this is more combative, obviously, but I mean, when it comes to those hostile territories, like, it's just a sport. People boo other people's football teams. I mean, they don't. It is what it is. But no, I do agree. And this is my first time. Like, we fight venue 18, I believe, in Fostoria a lot. We do boxing and MMA. Sometimes we do smokers, and that's kind of homish for us because that's where we fight at a lot. So we'll have people like who are from Sandusky. They'll go and see us fight. So I mean, I've had like 20, 30 people come and watch me fight before. But no, I do agree. Once you are under that pressure, I feel like that's worse than being in hostile territory. I mean, you're already going and being in a hostile environment, fighting someone. So when you go and everyone's expecting you to, do your best and show out and win, I mean, I feel like that's worse, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're in a hostile enemy territory, so to speak, they're gonna boo you no matter what you do. So you're just kind of, no matter what, I can. But following up to that, you talk about the hyper focus and the tuning the audience or the crowd out. I imagine, because I like to ask this question of fighters when the opportunity arises. But you're in the cage, you got your coach in one corner, the other coach on the other side. And a lot of times what I hear is that you're lucky if you can really hear anything at all. And when you can, so can the other guy. So yeah. I imagine, like, like you said, as soon as you get in the octagon, you're really kind of tuning everything out, if anything, trying to hone in to your coach's voice. Do you have a hard time finding coach in the middle of the chaos, or is it sort of with your hyper focus that you might not hear it anyway? How does that go for you in the ring, with whether it's a hostile crowd or not? How difficult is it to receive that feedback in the middle of a live round and try to apply it?
So yeah, I feel like a hostile crowd, I feel like it doesn't matter. It's kind of when everyone's like cheering and ooh and all that, when they're all loud, that's when it's hard to hear. But usually, I mean, it's no different from sparring, throw the jab, but sometimes I do lose my coach or whoever, my corner man. Sometimes I do lose them. But I mean, I feel like it's the critical moments you hear them, when you're on the ground, or maybe they're hitting he's throwing his left hand's down or whatever, you hear that. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is, so what a lot of the people don't see audience wise is that the fighters don't just, show up, weigh in, and then, okay, we're waiting for our fight, and then we go to fight. A lot of it is our coaches or our teammates in the back, like, okay, we're going to run this combo, this guy does that, or maybe we don't know the guy. Let's say we have no footage on him. We're going to run this combo. We're going to do this first. So we at least establish something. Maybe it's, doubling up on the jab, see how he reacts, doubling up on the jab, throwing the low kick. We do different combos, see how they react. And then, we do our reaction, our block returns and stuff at the gym. So at least you go in with the game plan. Usually, like you said, yeah, the coach is yelling some stuff. Maybe you don't hear him, maybe you do, but usually we're going off a game plan. Of course, it might change, it might not work, but it's when they come into the ring. Let's say if you get that far, is when they're gonna start. Your coach or your corner man is gonna start telling you, hey, look, that 1-1-2 is working, or hey, that right angle is there. He's the way he's squaring up on you. You can throw the hook. You know what I mean? So then we just start playing off that, and I throw the hook, and now he's blocking here, but maybe he drops his hand. So now 3-2. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that. Like a lot of our stuff is combination pad work type situations. Of course, grappling and pummeling and all that type of stuff. But at least we go in with the game plan. So if you can't if we can't hear our coach or our corner man, usually we're going off of that game plan unless we have to completely change it. But as a martial artist, you should be able to adapt. That's the most important thing. I'm not going to sit here and throw the jab, and every time I throw the jab, you hit me with a windmill or a hook. And I'm not going to just continuously do that. Okay, now I need to do something else. Maybe I fake the jab, and then I wait for it. I fake it, throw the two. I mean, it just depends. The coach or the corner man is kind of like your third eye. He sees everything you don't see. But you still have to be, at the time you have to be aware of not only your opponent, you have to be aware of yourself. So it's really all adaptability, to be honest.
Well, that was a great answer. And before I pass things back to Clayton, I feel it's normally my job to corral the comment section and see what questions they have. And Wade, who refuses to accept his day off, is here saying, what got you into MMA? So appreciate you, Wade, for being here. And also just a reminder to those watching us live, if you have a question for AJ, now would be the time to post those in the comments. I'll mark them. We'll make sure we ask them before we bid farewell. So, AJ, what got you into MMA?
So my dad was a kickboxer. So I've been kind of doing martial arts my whole life. Most of it was kind of just self-defense. It wasn't competition. And then it was kind of, showing off to friends and, all that fun stuff, glory stuff. And then after high school, I kind of my friend, he trained at Adrenaline for a while. He brought me here, and I met my coach Chad Catry, and honestly, me and Chad have a really, really, really good relationship. But at first we didn't. And I would show him a bunch of karate stuff, kung fu stuff, and he was like, that stuff doesn't work and blah blah blah. And I was kind of in and out of his gym sparring his guys, just trying to test myself, testing my skills. And I would do so. I mean, like I said, I've been training my whole life, so striking wise I was good. And I ended up learning a martial art underneath a guy named like Burley, and it's basically like boxing. And he wanted me to go on and teach people, and which was cool. I would like to teach people, but I never competed, so I didn't want to teach someone and not have been in the fire. So he invited me out to Atlanta, Georgia, and I did a kickboxing tournament, which I ended up winning. Those. Yeah.
Oh, even better. Let's go.
Yeah. So
you're speaking Kev's language now, man.
Yeah.
So
this is right up my alley.
I ended up winning, and like traveling, man, thousands of miles away from home by myself, and competing. And I mean, I was so anxious and scared, and man, the anxiety was crazy. Anyways, I ended up winning, and it built my confidence. Like, looking at myself, like, yeah, I'm not the best in the world, obviously, but I got something going, and I didn't want to stop, but I also didn't want to go into like coaching and teaching people. So I went to Adrenaline, and I told Chad, like, so it started out with me, maybe I want to teach some people some stuff. And I told Chad, I was like, I want to do that, but I want to compete. I want to go into the fire and feel how it actually feels to be here in the going under that pre-fight stress. because I couldn't, no one who's not done this you can't really help anybody going into it because it's different. It's a different type of stress. So it started out like that. He kind of took away my kicks because like I did, like I said, kickboxing, karate. He took away my kicks and we just boxed for like a whole year. And after that, I kind of just fell in love with the process. Like Chad, my coach, he gives me lots of opportunities to coach these guys, like, like co-coach. Like I'll go and he'll send me away with a few of my classmates, and which I'm doing for a few of these guys on this fight card. I'm helping them out and sharpening their offensive and defensive skills. But so it started with me like, maybe my old instructor put in my head, maybe I can, teach some people some things. But then I realized that I really just love the process. I love breaking myself down, so to speak, to build myself up and to be a better version of myself. And it's more than just martial arts, but everyone gets to the point where, you have to go out and you train, I don't want to get up today and all that. But once I do it, it's like, I don't know, I just get into a zone, it feels good. It just feels nice to go for a run, to hit the heavy bag, to spar with people respectfully, you meet interesting people. So it started out with me wanting to instruct and coach, and then it just became me falling in love with the process.
Apples to grapefruits in this situation, but I can kind of relate to that one, AJ, because one day my bald friend Zach, who I'm also bald, so I can make fun of him for it, so just so we're all on the same page, called me up and said, "Hey man, I hear you podcast, like you just talk all the time, right? Would you ever be interested in doing play-by-play commentary?" And the next thing you know, I was addicted, and now you can't get me out of the booth. It's all I want to do. And so it's interesting how something can kind of come along that as a smaller piece of your life, and you're thinking like, oh, this could be a fun little hobby. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh, this is me. So that is incredible. And I've got a couple here stashed away, but I've been talking for a while, so I'll punt things back over to Clayton.
So AJ, I'm happy you brought up your first fight, because I followed that event kind of closely. That show was billed as Ohio versus Florida, for those of you who don't know. I gotta ask, man, like, did you think about that at all? Like, obviously we have here in Ohio, we got a lot of great wrestlers. There's a very strong wrestling tradition here in the state of Ohio. So it's no surprise that you see, we have a very good amateur MMA scene here. That's just kind of how it is. How did we stack up against Florida?
We did about as much as you'd expect. I mean, I would say they were higher level in jiu-jitsu. So if you went to the ground with them, like there was a point in my fight where the guy just like everything he had, he just went and he grabbed. Now like I said, he was a belt higher than me, so I respected his jiu-jitsu. I wasn't gonna just, oh, he got me. He grabbed me and he grabbed my ankle and he pulled me down, and I immediately went against the cage, and he's like just working all over me, but I was able to get him off me and start striking him. So Ohio, I feel like, to be honest, Ohio, we had better hands. I don't think they were expecting that. But they did have, I think they had not technically better grappling, but they had the better jiu-jitsu. Sure. And I think Ohio, I could be wrong. I think we won all but one fight, I want to say.
Go Ohio.
Yeah, take that, Florida man. Yeah. That's how we do it up here.
Right.
Zach, I'm sensing we need to do something like that.
I'd love to do something like that. Ohio versus maybe we do Ohio versus Michigan, because I feel like that would really spark some real good rivalry right there.
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun.
Some people hate.
And you already got the red and blue corners. This thing is
right. Right.
Oh, that's perfect. Dude, CFS 3 is coming together. This is great.
Well, AJ, I appreciate you jumping on here and joining us this evening. I'm excited to watch your belt fight. I know I'll be running around like a chick with my head cut off, but I will be glued onto the cage when you are fighting for that belt. and maybe I'll be putting that belt around you come June 28th there in Sandusky, Ohio. Do you have any shout outs? Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors?
Well, I would say just one, Adrenaline Academy. Shout out all my people at Adrenaline Academy. I wouldn't be as good as I am right now without them. I can train as much as I want on my own, but they're the ones who push me. I don't get half the workout or half the intense workout as I do on my own than I do with my teammates, and they are very supportive. It's like a family here. Definitely shout out my coach Chad Catry. He's like an older brother to me. Thank you for everything. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for pushing me. Yeah, go Adrenaline.
Well, AJ, we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you June 28th, my friend.
All right. Hopefully we can give you a show.
Heck yeah. Looking forward to it. Thanks, man.
Thanks, AJ.
Great dude. Great
Hey, incredible interview, Zach. I'll go ahead and spoiler alert for you and our viewers at home. We may need to call AJ up next time we need a color commentator if he happens to have that night off. Just the depth of that conversation back and forth was incredible. So, I mean, we spent 20 minutes talking about a 20-second fight, and it was all a lot that could be useful to people who either are outsiders looking in or wanting to learn a couple of things. So thank you again, AJ. Incredible interview. Can't wait to call that fight.
Yes. And, well, moving forward, we're going to go into Clayton's favorite part of the world. We're going to go to the UFC, and we're going to talk about his boy from UFC 315, old JDM.
Three-name Jack, as some would call him. JDM, Australia's third champion behind Whitaker and Volkanovski, upset Belal Muhammad to become the new UFC welterweight champion, not last weekend, but 2 weekends ago. Like I said, we were off last week. So a lot has happened since then. Right now, the number one ranked contender at welterweight is Sean Brady, but Islam Makhachev vacated his lightweight title in hopes to move up and capture a second title. So, that being said, it looks like his first defense realistically will probably be against Islam. Personally, I don't think that's right. I really would like to see Sean Brady get his flowers. The guy's only lost one fight in the UFC, and that was to Belal Muhammad, another former champ. So it's not like Sean Brady's a can, but I get why the UFC wants to book the Islam fight. And it makes a ton of sense. Jack is a great boxer, one of the best stand-up fighters in the game right now. I personally think he is the best MMA boxer that the sport has right now, just pure boxing. And Islam can get hit. You know, Islam is not always the best at dodging punches. So can Jack stay on his feet long enough to land anything? Only time will tell, but I would love to see him defend the belt in Perth. He's from Perth, Western Australia. So I think that that's absolutely where the UFC should go next.
Okay. All right. So
yeah, that's a tough. Oh, I was sorry, Zach. I was to say that is always a tough one when you've got somebody who's a champion in another weight class. I can understand, and obviously there's the business side of it. So sometimes Dana and company are just going to book the money fight, the one they think will sell the most tickets. But it's sort of tough. Like, and maybe Zach, you can shed some light on this. But the idea, like, you being dominant in one weight class does not necessarily translate to you being a worthy title contender in another weight class, does it?
No, it really doesn't. I mean, yeah, it can propel you into that, like, in that, like, that top percentile of that weight class, sure, but it doesn't necessarily mean you are going to be the champion of that weight class. You know, not everybody can kind of pull off the McGregor, the John Jones stuff. Like, that's what legends are. I mean, look at Volk. Volk bumped up to try to take one, and personally, I thought he won that first fight. I really do think he won that first fight. But then he went back and lost the second time around. So is he in that top percentile jumping up? Sure. Yeah, he definitely is. Now, granted, it was like a 2-week notice or something like that he took.
It was like 11. It was 10 or 11 days, one of the two.
So you factor that into it, sure. But bigger guys,
Right.
heavier hands. It's different atmosphere. It really is. You're not used to taking those punches on that high a level. This is UFC, man. This is the cream of the crop right here.
Yeah, I think at this level, your first fight in any weight class should not be for a title. That would be maybe as the compromise that I would go with. Like Zach said, sure, if we're going to put you in the top 15 because you're a champion in another weight class, I can respect that. I can understand that. But win one fight in the weight class that you're going to challenge for a championship in. Otherwise, it just feels like a business decision as opposed to the two best combatants in that weight class actually going to battle, which I believe is what we all at home want it to be, right? Or something closer to that than, oh, well, double champ sells more tickets. So let's push that through as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing at lightweight right now, too. Like, they just announced that Charles Oliveira and Ilya, who's moving up from 145, will fight for the title next. Screw that, man. Here's why. Justin Gaethje stuck his ass out for the UFC at UFC 300, got knocked out on the world's biggest stage against another world-class guy. Okay, happens. That's one favor that he did for them. The second favor he did for them, when his fight fell apart against Dan Hooker, he took Rafael Fiziev on short notice. Yeah, he'd fought him already. Yeah, Fiziev was coming off of a long layoff. That's two huge favors on two pay-per-view shows that he's done for them. If I'm Justin Gaethje right now, and I heard John Anik say this week that he golfed with him last weekend, and Justin Gaethje's pissed. Makes sense to me.
Right.
Like, I absolutely think that he's done enough to get a title shot. And if I'm Justin Gaethje, I'm waiting. I'm absolutely waiting to see who ends up walking away. And that's no disrespect to Charles or Ilya, but I really feel, as a Justin Gaethje fan, I really feel for him not getting a shot there. That sucks. And like I said, I don't think he should take another fight in the meantime, because he's 36 now. He's been in some wars. He's taken some damage. What if you lose? Then you are never going to get another chance if you lose a fight at this stage.
That's true, but you also don't want to sit around and wait like was it Dustin did for McGregor for how long and not fight for what 2-3 years, and then there goes a whole chunk of your career out the window because you wanted to wait for a money fight. Not saying he's waiting for a money fight, but
sure, but the principle's still the same though. And ring rust is
it's a real thing.
Real. That is 100% real. I don't care what people say. Like, look at Michael Chandler against Paddy Pimblett. That was Chandler's first fight in 2 years. Got smashed by a guy. Granted, Paddy had to take a year off due to an injury, but still a lot more active. I think he'll fight again this summer, probably. I hope the UFC gives him his own show in Liverpool.
Paddy?
I think that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
Especially if they want to try and propel him into the title picture. And if I'm Justin Gaethje and they offer me Paddy Pimblett right now, I'm saying no. No way.
Let me ask you a little off topic a little bit. So welterweight here, would have you given Leon Edwards a chance if he wouldn't have lost to Brady? Would have you given him a belt opportunity if he wouldn't have lost that last one to submission?
Are we saying, okay, I'm going to ask you a
hypotheticals.
Follow-up question. Does Islam vacate his belt or not?
Let's say no. Let's just say no, he hasn't. He didn't.
Okay. Yeah, probably, right? Because he would theoretically be a former champ who's still the number one guy because he beat Sean Brady then.
Because like how many fights, how many titles did he have? 1, 2, 3. He had 3 and lost his third defense.
Yep.
So I was just curious to see if you would give him a shot, or not. Even so, and then you would say if what's his face had vacated like he has already, you wouldn't give it to him though?
No, I think no matter what, they're gonna try and build Islam up. I think that's just the nature of the business, right? We as fans, I do enjoy a double champ, but I think that the UFC in general, that's Connor. That is literally where I'm at. There's 170 is thick right now with talent. There are just some names on there. Ian Gary just beat Carlos Prates, but hey, throw him in there with Carlos Prates. Joaquin Buckley, I think he's booked right now. I can't remember who he's supposed to fight, but I think he's booked. Let me double check that there. but there are so many good guys at welterweight right now. It's like I said, yeah, he's booked to fight Kamaru Usman, another name who easily could be thrown into that title picture with a win, right? He's 0-3 right now, but if he pieces together another win, why not throw him in there? That's the second greatest welterweight champion of all time, in my opinion. Just so much depth, and it sucks that some of these guys might not get a title challenge right away, because one thing I've noticed in the UFC is it almost never matters about the availability of contenders. It's the availability of the champion, right? Like when the champion's available, that's when they're going to fight. So it's just so, yeah, that was a crazy fight, man. I feel for Gilbert Burns. He's been around forever. Another former title challenger, just ran into Kamaru Usman at the wrong time, got knocked out in the second round against him. I think he'll become kind of like a Jeff Neal character at welterweight now. He's 0-4. He's 38. He's got to figure out some direction if he wants to keep hanging around.
It's kind of nice to see, a heavier weight to start getting this stacked, because it's been literally nothing but the lighter weights for the longest time that have been stacked, your 45s, your 55s. So it's kind of nice to start seeing it go to the 170. I'd love to see a nice stacked, light heavyweight, stuff like that, because you don't see a packed, not card, but a packed weight class like that in the heavier weights anymore, or not anymore, just never. Like, you just really never seen a stacked heavyweight, light heavyweight, or even 185. You've never really seen two stacked. It's always been your 45s and 55s has really been the stacked class. Now, do you think that's because guys are trying to get bigger and be bigger, or they're trying to be more closer to their weight? Like, what do you think the result of that is, and why the 170 is starting to get stacked? Is it just the talent itself, or what?
I think it could just be the talent itself, right? Like, you got to think realistically, when you cut weight, most humans, I would argue, would probably weigh between 145 and 170, right? Maybe 85. So I think it kind of makes sense that 55, in my opinion, 55 has always kind of been one of the glamour divisions for the UFC. They like to have a good champion at 155. And I think 70s just finally getting their shine, man. I'm looking at the top 15. This is crazy right now. We got JDM at the top. Belal is the number one contender. They won't give him an immediate rematch, though. They're going to make him fight down. Then you got Sean Brady, Shavkat. He's injured right now, but another insane prospect there, undefeated. Leon, Kamaru Usman, Ian Gary, Joaquin Buckley, Michael Morales, Colby, Gilbert Burns, Jeff Neal, Wonderboy, Prates, Luque, and MVP. That is a crazy weight class, dude. Like, I'm looking around just side by side to a bunch of other divisions. Middleweight's pretty solid right now too. Light heavyweight's a little thin, and heavyweight's even thinner than that. But man, I'm just 170 is a fun division right now. There's a lot of great fights to be made at 170.
And there's only one fight that needs to be made at heavyweight.
Yeah, that's the only fight that matters at heavyweight now and potentially forever. Like, come on, sign the contract, buddy.
Yeah. How much? I don't know if I sent Clayton this, but I know I sent Kevin this. It was a salt truck pushing out salt, and it was saying what he's trying to do to get John Jones to take this contract. If you get the innuendo there, yeah.
You got a weekend in Tijuana on the UFC, buddy. If you can figure it out, dude. It irritates. I feel bad for Tom Aspinall too. You're wasting the prime of his career too. You know, you made him defend essentially the equivalent of a silver medal in MMA terms,
right? And
now you can't get him a fight.
Well, and just like they were saying, John Jones has the longest undisputed champion of heavyweight. It's like, no, you can't say that because there's an interim champion out there. You got to beat him before that stuff starts counting for you now. I mean,
and what's it matter if you hold the belt for 1,000 days because you never fight anybody anymore? Like, I don't care how long your reign is when you're not active. And to be honest, to me, a lot of this falls on the UFC. Like, strip him at this point. We have learned this lesson before. Conor should have taught you this lesson by now. Like, how long are you going to let divisions be held up by one guy? And it's just sort of, I understand the star power. I understand the draw, but like, you have to not be that short-sighted. Like, how long is it going to take the heavyweight division to recover from this?
Yeah.
Like, who even cares about the heavyweight division right now outside of people just calling John Jones a duck? And there's the one fight everybody wants that they're not going to get. And at what point do you just say, well, I don't care. I'll watch these other weight classes where things are a little more even, where there's actually people competing. As we just discussed, there's a better balance of the talent. Like, this is cement shoes for the heavyweight division right now, and it really needs to stop.
You need to have consequences too. Like, okay, if we're going to strip you, you're going to have to fight 2 fighters before you even get another belt opportunity or something like that.
I think if you get stripped, you're out of the top 15, right? Like, what's your point of your ranking? And we had to take your belt from you because you won't come to work. How are you ranked at anything? What are we basing this ranking off of? What you did in 2019 or however long it's been at this point?
Too long.
Yeah.
And in 2019, he almost got beat. Like, Thiago Santos had him on the ropes, dude. Granted, John's really good at the oblique kick, so he like kicked crap out of his knees and needed both his knees operated on. But like, Thiago Santos had him on the ropes. Dominic Reyes arguably beat him, dude. Like, for those of you who haven't, what?
I said, but he did.
Right, correct. Dude, go back. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Dominic Reyes, John Jones. Watch the fight. It is that is one of my favorite fights of all time, strictly because of how close it was. Like, that fight was a coin flip. It really was. I really do think, even looking back now, I really think Reyes got him. I really do. But hey, that's one guy's opinion, and the judges didn't see it that way. And here we are. That was in 2020. Damn, that was 5 years ago, dude. This guy's fought 3 times in 5 years. Like,
wasn't he in prison for a lot of those times though too?
He was not. He should have been.
He would have been if he were one of us.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, just a regular guy.
John Bones Jones. Like, dude, oh my gosh, he's fought 3 times in 5 years. That's, who else can get away with doing that at a championship level? Nobody.
Just Conor, right? That was it.
Yeah, seriously. And look, I saw a quote the other day that somebody said the UFC did too well with Conor McGregor. They made him too much money. And I was like, honestly, yeah, that sounds about right. Just looking at how he's living his life right now. And is he a UFC Hall of Famer? Yeah. Conor is a UFC Hall of Famer. Say what you want, whatever. I just think that almost he has 2 fights left. I don't think he'll fight. I don't think he'll fight out his contract. There's no way.
I mean, who's he going to fight that would actually that would actually be a good fight? Like, I mean, sure, yeah, he's going to make the money because people are going to come and watch him fight. But what's going to be an actual good fight?
The only fight,
him versus Logan Paul in a sanctioned boxing match.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
That would draw a lot of money. That would draw a lot of money because a lot of people want to see anyone want to see both of them get knocked out. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, except that they'll both sign a paper saying nobody's getting knocked out. So
I don't know if Conor would do that though. I know he likes the money, but he's pretty arrogant. He's way more arrogant than the Paul brothers there.
Yeah, which is why he wouldn't want to be knocked out by one. It's mutually beneficial.
I don't think he would get knocked out by one. He's a better fighter. He's a better fighter. I mean, he's Irishman.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's Logan Paul, you're right. Jake Paul, Jake Paul might find one. But if Jake Paul's doing it, there's certainly going to be a contract. Come on, he had to talk a 65-year-old into not knocking him out. Like, you think he's going to have the confidence to fight Conor without that clause?
Dude.
We might actually see Conor do some good ground game at that point.
Yeah. It's time for Jake Paul and Dylan Dennis to start training jiu-jitsu together. Like,
there it is.
Yeah. Dude, the only guy that Conor needs to fight right now, the only guy I would even remotely be interested in seeing him fight is Michael Chandler. Like, that's the only dude, because Chandler's, for lack of better terms, Chandler is a bull in a china shop. Like, he's just going to come forward and just try and wreck people. Like that's just kind of his style from everything that I've seen. So I really, and Connor's like a in and out type guy, or at least I can't even say that anymore. Used to be. There we go. An in and out type guy. So I don't know, man. He's really the only guy I'd want to see at 70. Because like, would I want to see him fight Ian Gary at 70? No. Because I think Ian Gary is focused on bigger and better things than Conor McGregor. Can you imagine saying that 10 years ago?
No.
There's bigger and better things out there than Conor McGregor.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Just remember, Conor's, I think you're right. I think Conor's out of the fight game. He's too busy looking at his presidency of Ireland. He's trying to get into politics, which is a mess in itself.
Yeah. He missed on that one by a couple of years, but have fun.
Yeah. Well, we won't get into politics on this show.
there was probably a time he would have been able to slide right in. I think at this point, God help you, Ireland, if that does happen. God help you, because no one else will. You will be isolationist day one. Be like, listen, bro.
Either that or you don't want to fight everybody.
Speaking of Ireland, let's run Ian Gary and Colby Covington in Dublin. That'd be pretty sick. Just throwing that out there. Matchmaker Scolina.
All right. Hashtag
Dude,
it.
Inevitably, when I end up taking Dana White's job and, Hunter Campbell's retired and all that good stuff, that's what I'm going to do. We're going international again. Like, you guys remember when they would go to, like, Sweden and Germany? Like, I will say, I think they're going to Uzbekistan later this year. They're going to one of the stands.
Well,
I know that.
COVID ruined all that. That was a problem. COVID ruined it all. COVID ruined everything.
Minute since then, you would think. I think it's okay to travel without masks now, Zach. So I
know, but it was just since that happened, they haven't done crap. Because instead they built their little sanctuary in Las Vegas, and they're like, all right, let's do everything in Vegas.
Now they have to justify that cost, which is dumb. Again, and also take it from your partner on the other side of the TKO aisle. Whenever business is bad for the WWE, guess what? They go to Europe, where they don't have Monday Night Raw 52 weeks out of the year. And guess what? Everybody and their dad buys tickets to those shows because it's an actual event for them to go do. Yeah, like this would save a lot of the problems that they're having with ticket prices, and which is its own issue. Like honestly, I'm probably giving them the wrong advice here. I'm telling them how to keep those prices high. Just go away, so we'll miss you for a while. And those people overseas will absolutely pay those prices because they don't get to see you all the time. And then by the time you come back, you'll be able to charge those prices again because guess what? There's more popularity into your product, and also people miss you now that you went away for a minute and don't do pay-per-views every single Friday and then a fifth one on Saturday. I mean, at a certain point, they're saturating their own market. But, yeah, take it overseas where there's more of a demand for it. Seems like a no-brainer to me.
You know what? Let's think about the 5 countries they go to the most right now. The U.S., obviously. They're based in the U.S.
Yep.
Australia, the U.K., Canada, and Mexico.
They don't. I thought they went down to
Brazil. Not Brazil, right? You're saying it so many times because it's such a no-brainer. It would be down
that's
there.
Stupid. I would want to go running down in Brazil because how many champions have you had for Brazil? I mean, you get the nerds that are down in there.
I'm trying to think of when was the last fight they had in Brazil?
The NFL has been in Brazil more recently than the UFC. Is that not a little crazy?
They could have been. I don't think they were there last fall. May 4th. Okay. They're there. Okay, yeah. I forgot.
Or were they were just there
once a year.
Oh, okay.
The NFL was there
2 weeks ago.
But yeah, like those outside of those 6 countries, they really don't go too many places more than once. Abu Dhabi, that's a good point.
Because over there in the Middle East, they're trying to create a big sports area there. I mean, I had listened to an interview with with the Prince, and he was talking about how he wants to make that a big area for all kinds of sports because they're building all those things for the soccer. I'm not a soccer person, so I'm trying
field.
They just had the World Cup,
not FIFA, but the World Cup. There we go.
Yes.
So they've got 8 fields that they're building that are absolutely gorgeous. By the way, I've seen them; they're gorgeous. But they're just trying to build that up for all kinds of sports, and so they go there and do that.
Yeah, and Connor's spot on here. Yeah, they're pouring a ton of money into it. I mean, to be fair, if you want to try to draw tourists to the desert, you're going to have to build a lot of attractions. So we can kind of see what they're doing there. Makes sense. I mean, they've been doing it for a while. They have their own golf tour as well. There's the LIV and all that stuff. So that's not going anywhere. So there will be those opportunities. But yeah, I do think the sport in general would benefit. Like, look at, you mentioned the Olympics, right? Or the World Cup. Look at the impact that the USA Dream Team, I know we're looking at 30 years ago, but the idea of all those superstars being an international face now, like the NBA has a big market share across the world. And granted, they're not the NFL, but still, it's just like, there's no downside into testing out some of these international markets. Then you build lifetime fans that, guess what? 90% of the time they have to buy the pay-per-view, and they'll certainly buy the ticket the one time a year that you're there. So I don't know.
Yes.
I'm assuming there's some people more educated in this matter than me making these decisions, but also, TKO in general hadn't been hitting only homers lately. So I feel confident that if there are smarter people in the building, they aren't listening to them all the time. So do some of that.
I got 4 countries for you, boys. This is my last thought here. I got 4 countries that I would like to see the UFC go to either this year or next year. Number 1, Germany. That's a little selfish, but that's okay. Number 2. Number 2, they've never been to Italy that I know of. Like, there's not a big MMA scene over there. Marvin Vettori. Have Marvin Vettori headline a show in Italy. Like, that's right in itself. That's selling tickets by itself.
Yeah.
Italy. Number 3, Nigeria. You got it. You have Kamaru Usman and Izzy. Guess what? Izzy's probably not going to fight for a belt next. It's not going to happen. And if Usman wasn't booked right now, like, why not throw them both on the same card? Main and co-main, have the co-main 5 rounds. Number 4. Yeah, this is 4. South Africa. We have a South African champion right now, Dricus du Plessis. Give him a hometown fight.
Has the UFC ever been to Africa, period?
No, they never have. And at one point, they had 3 African champions. Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, and Izzy all held the belt at the same time. Didn't go.
That would have been a huge card if you would put all 3 of those on there. You know how much money they would have made?
Oh, my gosh, dude. Can you imagine doing that in like a soccer stadium in Nigeria?
Oh, my God.
That would have been... That's like, we're talking Rumble in the Jungle type stuff.
Yep.
That is, gosh, that's such a missed opportunity for them. And like I said, there's a lot of talent in Africa right now. You see guys every week, it seems like, coming from some African country. And it's such a missed opportunity. I really wish that they would look into going to Africa more.
I agree with you on that one. I do.
Yeah,
Final thoughts, boys. Final thoughts.
Come back to Cleveland. That'd be pretty cool.
They're not coming to Ohio. You know how expensive it is to put shows on in Ohio?
Yeah.
The medicals that you have to get done. Most of the guys, so if anybody doesn't know, in Ohio, at the age of 35, you got to do so many medicals, it's not even funny.
It's good to know. I'll always have an out anytime anyone asks me if I want to. Sorry, boys.
I can't do the medical, guys.
Do me additional medical costs. Otherwise, I'd be a stone cold killer in there. But shucks.
They were in Ohio not that long ago. I think I might have been a freshman in college the last time they were in Ohio.
It was for Stipe defending his title.
No, they did a show in Columbus. They did. Who'd they do in Columbus? It was Brian Barberina and Matt Brown was the co-main. I can't remember who headlined that show. I feel like it was some heavyweights. It was a pair of heavyweights. It might have been. Was it Curtis Blades?
You're gonna look it up. I know you are.
Yeah. Curtis Blades versus Chris Dawkins. That's right, because he beat the crap out of Chris Dawkins. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the last time they were in Ohio. They've been to Cincinnati a couple times. They've been to Columbus a couple times. They've been to Cleveland once. And you were right. That was for Stipe to defend against Alistair Overeem.
That I remember. I remember that one.
You know who else fought on that show, Kev? CM Punk. CM Punk was on the Cleveland show. I think that was 204. That was, gosh.
Is that his first or his second fight? I mean,
it might have been his second one.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's not great. Not ideal.
The one where the winner of the fight got called
Still
out
got
by
cut.
Dana White, and he said he'll never fight for the UFC again. Can you imagine that? Winning a fight, and the promoter just dogs you in the press conference. That bum will never work in this town again. Wow. And
UFC has turned guys into villains doing that too. Look what they did to Colby Covington.
Oh yeah.
They told that guy, "Hey, we're not bringing you back." So he invented the MAGA crazy pro wrestling style persona. Hey, shout out. He sold a lot of tickets and made a lot of money.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Hey, the persona sells. Young fighters, just let you know. A good persona do a lot for you, okay?
Being a villain
and a bad one will do even more for you, honestly. Yeah.
People pay to see you win, and more people will pay to see you lose.
At the end of the day, I think more people will pay to see someone get knocked out than they will see to win a fight. And that's unless we're in the wonky world of pro wrestling. You can, because you can manufacture the storyline, you can have the heat, you can have people cheat and do all that stuff. And be like, I really want to see this guy win. Generally speaking, in true combat sports, I feel like the big money is I want to see someone shut this dude up for once. Somebody do it. And I feel like, yeah, that's where the money is.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. You just have too much respect in the amateur world of mixed martial arts, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing whatsoever. You don't really have too much of those cocky guys going, I'll knock anyone out wherever, whenever, and talking the smack. So that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Save that for the pros.
Right.
It's true.
So, but with that being said, gentlemen, another Carnage Unleashed in the bag. So, Clayton, tell us, where can they find you, bud?
First and foremost, I'd like to apologize to the fan base for forgetting Abu Dhabi. That one's on me. However, you guys can find me on all my social medias at cscalina12 on Instagram and Twitter. Also, shout out to Connor Smith. He was active tonight in the comments. He's got a fight coming up here in just a couple of weeks. He is headlining the Ego Fight Series 4, I believe, championships on June 14th. So shout out to Connor Smith. Good luck, bro. We're looking forward to watching you fight again. Kev, where can the people find you?
That's right. I second that. Shout out to Connor. As of today, the only thing that I would like to bring to the attention of our wonderful audience is the Absolute Grand Prix tournament. Benchmark Pro Wrestling full event, 8-man tournament. Somebody has to win 3 matches in one night to walk away with the title. We also have a co-main event tag team. Please go check that out. Let us know what your thoughts are and subscribe with notifications if you're interested in the individual matches. And of course, getting free fights from us from our previously streamed pay-per-views. So that's my only call to action tonight, boys. Benchmark Pro Wrestling on Carnage Media. If you're a fan of it, please tune in. We'd love your support, love your feedback as that promotion gets off the ground. A lot of fun to do that work. A lot of great guys and gals involved. So BPW all the way. Zach, what about you?
Well, you can catch me here. It's the only place you can really catch me, unless you're going to come to the fights and watch me run around like a chick with my head cut off, because that is how I am. But also, talking about Connor, he will actually be joining us on June 11th to talk about his upcoming fights on the 14th. So you guys will want to stay tuned and watch him as he talks his smack about his fight coming up, because I'm sure a little bit of his wrestling will come out on that one. You know?
Hey.
Maybe bring the people's elbow on while he's talking about it. You never know when it comes to old Connor Smith there. But you can also check out anything that we do here on YouTube. All of our past fights, we post them, individual fights, and at times, like we did last week, because we were off, we will also be posting some of the main cards of the pay-per-views we do. And if you want to check out some of those other pay-per-views live all together, you can still go back and check them out on carnagemediappv.com, which you can see all upcoming events coming up, which we have the next show that we've got is Carnage Fight Series 2 in Sandusky, Ohio, June 28th. I'm excited for that. First time in Sandusky in many, many years. So I know it's going to be loaded. Where tickets are selling like hotcakes, boys. I mean, they really are. Each time I get tickets, I have to go back and grab some more because I'm running out. I have to ask some of these fighters for hey, do you guys still have some extra tickets? I need some. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping we sell out. And if we do, don't worry. We'll have the pay-per-view going for you guys where you can watch Kevin talk about it all night long. Looking forward to it. And we will see you guys next week on Carnage Unleashed.